It's Bill DeWeese from VoiceOverRevolution.com, wishing you a very happy 2018. And here we are on the first workday, official workday of the new year. And so today's our first opportunity to keep all of those New Year's resolutions that we made. Most of us come into a new year with pretty high, lofty, unattainable goals. So for the most part, when you say, as characterized by those who decide to get in shape, lose weight and get in shape, that's the big New Year's resolution, right? So we see it when people, they flock to the fitness centers in the very beginning of January, and then by the end of January, the crowds begin to thin, and by March, it's back to the regular group that was always going to begin with. And that's okay, because it's good, I think, to set goals to move us forward. Sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. But I want to talk to you about how you view your goals and how you approach your voiceover business in 2018. And the title of this video is Set Your Own Pace. And I think it's one of the most crucial things to do in order to succeed. Not just in voiceover, but really in just about any area of life. And let me explain what I mean. I used to run quite a bit and really enjoyed running. And hopefully, maybe someday I'll be able to get back into condition to do it again. But I used to really enjoy doing it, so much so I ran the Chicago Marathon a couple of times. And whenever you mention to somebody that you've run a marathon, or at least those who have any background in running at all, the first question they always ask you is, so what was your time? How fast did you run it, in other words? And that's fine, except for me, I never ran for time because I'm not a fast runner. I'm not a gifted runner. What I can do is I can endure. I finish. And that's my big thing. In anything in life is not how fast I do it, not even how glamorously I do it, but do I do it? Do I finish the race? And so I have learned through that activity that setting my own pace is how I win, according to my goal, which is to finish. I'm a 5-hour marathoner. And if you know anything about running, that breaks down to about a 12-minute mile, which is a very leisurely jog. And so that is how I run a marathon. I never keep track of time in terms of I don't compare it against anybody else. I want to encourage you this year, in relationship to your voiceover business, not to compare yourself to me or to anybody else. I want to encourage you to run your race, to set your pace, because it's different for all of us. For one thing, our lives are different, our schedules. Some of you already have full-time jobs. Some of you don't, and maybe you've recently been downsized or lost a job, or you're making a transition and want to do this full-time and you have more time. You may have more family responsibilities and other things in your life that will have an effect on the pace at which you can finish this race, reaching whatever goal you have for yourself in voiceover. One of the biggest ways to sabotage yourself, one of the quickest ways to sabotage yourself, is by comparing yourself to somebody else. Set your pace. It does not matter how fast you go. It does not matter how slowly you advance your career. And yeah, ideally, we'd all like to hit our goals tomorrow. But the reality is that's just not the way it's going to work for us in building really anything of worth. It does take time, for some longer than others. But don't compare. Set a pace that you can maintain, because I guarantee you, more people burn out in voiceover, not because of lack of talent or ability, but because they did not pace themselves. They came out of the starting gate full of enthusiasm and energy, and they hit it hard and they burn brightly for a while, for a week or two, maybe even for several months, and then they just could not maintain the pace they set for themselves, and became disillusioned and burned out and said, this doesn't work anymore. Whereas if you take the tortoise approach as opposed to the hare and just find a pace that you're comfortable with, where you can still breathe comfortably and live comfortably. For me in running, that was always the key. I would run within a pace where I could breathe comfortably. That way I could maintain very long distances, maybe slower than most others, but I always finished. And so by setting that kind of pace and not comparing yourself to other people, you will achieve more, not only in the short term, but ultimately in the long term. When most others have fallen off the course and they've quit and they've burned out, you will still be moving along. And maybe it's not flashy or glamorous, but you will be moving forward and you will be reaching your goals. And that's what I want for you in 2018. I want to see you set a pace that is your pace, that you're comfortable with, that you can maintain, and not feeling like you have to get this thing done in the next few weeks or even the next few months, but that if you move along, even if it's at a very slow, steady pace, at the end of 2018, you will be amazed at what you will have accomplished. I want great success for you. Whether that comes in the short term or in the long term, really ultimately doesn't matter. What matters is that you finish the race at your pace. And I hope that you will plug in to the support that's around you, including things like this YouTube video and resources that I'm able to offer. And I look forward to hearing about your success. Thanks for checking out the video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe, share with your friends. But most importantly, set your pace for 2018.